Contestant number 6. Frank Mayers. Frank Mayers.
Jane, fellow Toastmasters, it was a real interesting and eye-opening presentation you gave us here tonight. I want to thank you for taking on the challenge of being the target speaker in such a setting as you see here before you. You talked about taking control of your health. Well, you also took control of the stage and your audience here tonight, making your presentation. And I would no more tell you how to tell your personal story and share with us your personal experiences than I would anything else. But I do have some observations I will share with you. Your opening statement was help. Who is responsible? And initially that threw me. Responsible for what? But your next statement clearly indicated it was help in controlling your health issues. And as a person who has dealt with health issues of my own all my life, you quickly drew me in to your presentation. Sharing your personal experience and your personal story was the strongest aspect of the presentation you shared with us tonight, telling us about your battle with rheumatoid arthritis. And I think your experience is somewhat similar to a lot of people when they come up against a challenge they don't initially understand. You can blame others, you can ask, fix me, help me, but eventually it comes up to you, the person who's dealing with the problems, to deal with it effectively and to work with those who can help you to resolve some of the problems and issues. So I thought the speech was laid out excellently. You used the stage area effectively. Your voice was clear, and you gave us steps that we could take to resolve health issues that face any of us. And as we all get older, we will all face additional health issues. I can guarantee you that. Even with miracle medicines. So I'm not one to give a lot of advice to a very good speech, but I do have one item that I'd just like to bring to your attention, and that was the opening. I like short openings. Your opening to me was a bit long, and it caught me a bit off guard. So I would like to suggest an alternative you might want to consider, called Fix Me, instead of the title you used. But overall, I enjoyed the speech. I learned from the speech. Thank you very much.
Contestant number 7. Earl Netwell. Earl Netwell.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and Jane. A journey toward health. I like that. I like that topic, health. It's something that applies to everyone in the room, so certainly a meaningful topic. Well presented, excellent presence on the stage, for the most part, good vocal, could hear clearly, well presented from a technical point of view. I'd like to talk a bit more about the content, a journey. It starts in 2007 with some symptoms, a little bit of self-correction, more symptoms. Finally, a trip to the doctor. Drugs, no. We're doing this journey, step by step. Ultimately, we get to a point where your mother's hospice. And you come to a realization, I am responsible. You started your speech with that phrase, I am responsible. And it's clear that that was the core theme of your presentation. I wish you had told us a little bit more about why and how you came to that conclusion at that point in time. I think it would have helped us realize how we might be responsible and be more meaningful to us. It then shifted to adaptive, to a new definition of health, to how we can adjust to our current situation. Each of us has our own challenges of one sort or another. And so this idea of adaptiveness is a good one. You said there were 3 points. There was knowing yourself, and then unfortunately I didn't quite hear the second point. And then the third of having support around you. But I was quickly felt good. You were going back to that know yourself. You talked about faith and family. And I was looking forward to learning what that second point was. But all of a sudden, there were 5 things. And I'm not sure that I got all those 5 things. There was yoga, and there was walking at the airport, and it just got a little muddy to me in terms of being all kinds of extra points. But you ended up again, then the third point was about family and support, and that made sense. You concluded again with a call to action to us. I am responsible again. And I like the fact that you started with I am responsible, that it was repeated in the middle and at the end, and that was the core unifying message that you wanted to share with us. But like someone that takes a journey to Europe for 2 weeks and comes back and tries to talk about Paris and Amsterdam and Venice all in one 5 to 7 minute speech, it was too much. If we could have focused on I am responsible, how you got there, I think it would have been even more valuable to us. But thank you for sharing your journey.
Contestant number 8. Long John, Long John.
Buenos noches, Toastmasters. We are all here, leaders among leaders. And today we're here at a very special speech from Jane. Now, where is Jane in the room? Right there. Hi, Jane. One of the 3 key things I want to hit on today is your overall body language, your organization, and the core message. Your stage presence, right in the beginning, you stated health, profound statement. You were grounded from the beginning. Your body language, you use it overall very well. Especially when you were engaging about your special health, you use you're connecting us with your brain, and then connecting us back to the audience. You were able to connect a lot of your energy with your body movements. And your overall stage presence here, you took it very well. You went from left the stage. You looked at very strong eye contact with the audience, with the organization skills. Your stories especially when you're saying that you're going to take us on a journey. You had your suitcase, you hold it all the way down here. It was as if we were on a trip with you. The dialogue with your stories gave strong points to your humor, which made us all laugh. Very powerful. You didn't push through. Now, your core message on health is a very relatable topic that everyone can relate to. How is that? You mentioned that you had symptoms, and you self-diagnosed yourself. And again, you had another symptom that got worse, and you self-diagnosed yourself. And we all fall victim to that sometimes, don't we? We self-diagnose ourselves until it gets to the point where it gets so bad. This is where your core message comes very strong. Now, some of the improvements that I would have to say is that from my perspective, sitting on the left side, from my left side, is that I saw you more towards leaning on this side of the stage. When overall, my suggestion is to have overall core balance chronologically with your stories, so that you can then travel to the right and then take your center stage back home, right in the middle. The second part too, maybe towards the end of your conclusion, you refer, come to a journey with me. Now, one way to help improve this, kick it up a notch, maybe what I would have liked to see or heard, was that here is a first-class ticket for you, the audience, to go for better health. Overall, it was great, it was strong, it was relatable. We can all take it home and then go on that journey, on that first-class trip to a better health. That's Toastmasters.
Contestant number 9. Luke Green. Luke Green.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Julie, thank you very much for providing us with a message that allowed you to be vulnerable. One of the best ways to persuade, especially when it comes to taking responsibility for your own health, is you allowing yourself to say, this is me, I am human, this is my story, this is what motivated me to learn the lessons that I'm here to share with you today. So thank you for doing that. One of my favorite parts throughout your speech was towards the middle, where you had this conversation that we all kind of have in our heads. For you, it was about rheumatoid arthritis. For the rest of us, it's whatever things we are willing to deny. So somebody says, hey, Luke, I got bad news. No, you don't. No, Luke, really, I have some bad news. Maybe you want to think about this. No, I don't. And so with that, you use that as a wonderful launching point. And at that time, the vocal delivery, the message itself, just all kind of came in sync. We provided a really, really good message that set you up nicely for your first step about, recognizing who you are at your core. And at that point, your gestures were so incredibly powerful. Where towards the beginning, where you were kind of, mimicking, this is me having difficulty with stuff in the upper thing, here's me dragging my bag to his airport. But when at that moment, where you had this very kind of very, very powerful, very, very centered nonverbal delivery, I think it sucked the entire audience in to say, this woman has something important to say, and you did not let us down. Some things that I think we could do to make your message even more powerful is kind of the analogy of a speech as being like an airplane. The most important parts are takeoff and landing. What happens in the middle, of course, it's important. But really, takeoff and landing, that's what will get you on the evening news if you unfortunately. So with it, with your beginning with kind of the Obamacare joke, the mentioning, again, getting political, Unfortunately, politicizing health probably isn't your strongest or the strongest thing to do. I think that if you just led in at the very beginning where you started to talk about, this was my life, things were going great, I was flying high, things were awesome, and then I got that diagnosis. I think with that, it allows you to be vulnerable from the beginning. It allows the audience to know that this woman has something powerful to say, and then we can really, really launch into that speech. Also, in doing so, it will free up more time to focus on kind of the action items that you have for us. So you did a good job of laying out the couple steps that you had and motivated us to do. But I think towards the end, your conclusion was a little bit rushed. Where I think that if you could take some time and really break it down and say, hey, going forward, this is what I have envisioned for you. This is what you can do to find that journey of health. Also, another thing I think you could do is make it a little bit more generalizable. You did a great job of sharing how you yourself found out who you were at your core and the different steps that you took in your journey of health. I think by providing different examples, you mentioned yoga heavily and what worked for you. And for all of us in here, we all have our own things that help us be more introspective and know a little bit more about ourselves. And so I think that if you master that beautiful takeoff, a wonderful, powerful speech where you show us your human side so we can all relate with it, when the audience lands, they'll be able to disembark that plane and have a wonderful journey towards health. Madam Toastmaster.
Contestant number 10. Steve Murray. Steve Murray.
Fellow Toastmasters, honored guests, thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to evaluate my journey to health by Jane. This was one of the best speeches I've seen in a very long time. I was very impressed how she started her speech, very emphatically saying, who is responsible for your health? When she said that, I was very intrigued because I had no idea where she was going with this. And then I thought she did an excellent job of taking the audience back through time, back 8 years to 2007, and building this great story and giving us all these images about her trials and tribulations about her health. I thought that was excellent. One of the things that she did a great job too was the utilization of her body language, and especially her arms and her hands. Her hands and arms were always going at all times, and whenever I was looking at that, I always thought that really enhanced her speech and helped her really drive home some of the points and images that she was trying to drive. Excellent job of doing that. I really was trying to search to see if I could find what I could tell her to recommend for the next time she gives a speech to help improve it. It was extremely difficult for me because, again, this is one of the best speeches I've seen. The only two things that ever came to mind is that towards the middle of the speech, she had mentioned that she was with her mom at hospice and that her mother said, you are responsible for your health. And as soon as she said that, the thought crossed my mind, wow, that's a fast speech. It's already over. And then she kept going. And I'm thinking, next time you give the speech, if you say that statement at the end, I think that would wrap your speech up very nicely, and it would be more appropriate at the end of the speech as opposed to the middle of the speech. And the only other thing, too, I could think of is you utilize the stage a lot. You walk back and forth. At times you kind of seem like you were pacing, so maybe if you could have just been anchored here in the middle and kind of be like a tree, be a little bit more anchored, been a little bit more calming for the audience. And another thing that I was very impressed with is how you're able to, you walked us through your trials and tribulations of your health issues, which is a very serious subject, but you're able to weave a lot of dry humor, which really enhanced and lightened up the whole speech, which made the speech that much more enjoyable. So you did an excellent job on that. And then your vocal variety, my gosh, it's just incredible range with the voice inflections and everything. And your vocal variety, to me, helped create images in my mind about your speech. It helped me be by you as you're going through your journey and generated images in my mind. And keep doing that because your vocal variety is excellent, especially your voice inflection. So overall, I thought you did a great job, and I look forward to future speeches. Thank you very much, fellow Toastmasters.